Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. We are going to be using Homemade by Jane's Doodles and Hog Heaven by MFT Stamps. We're just going to be using one of the piggies from that set. I have many card bases that I need to fold over and store, but I'm just going to do one of them for now. I took a poll over on Instagram on which set to use for Shop Your Stash, episode number 2, and it was 50-50 the second to last time I looked at it, and then I think it leaned more towards Homemade, but I decided to combine them since it was so close, so I will be using most of the items from this set, and then the piggy with the cupcake. So I'm going to stick these into my Misty, and I'm going to stamp them separately, meaning like different brand stamp sets. Many stamp sets brands, I guess I should say brands, have different heights on their stamp, like the stamp width, the height of it, if that makes sense. So how you put it into the Misty and press down is going to make a difference. So if I were to put the piggy in here with these stamps might be a little bit taller, and pressing down with all of them in there might not work out very well. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is clean off the stamps, put these ones back, and then grab our piggy and just stick him in there and then stamp him separately. I know that the Jane's Doodle stamps feel a little bit thicker to me, so I feel like they might have been also a little bit taller, and I didn't want to run into any issues. And I am back to Memento Tuxedo Black ink, because it's the first ink I had used back in like 2010 when I started making cards. But for some reason over time I just looked for other things, and more recently I was using My Favorite Things hybrid black ink, and I wanted it because it was able to handle, supposedly, alcohol markers and watercolor if you wanted to watercolor. But I guess it's one of those things where I didn't realize that I wasn't really utilizing the watercolor part of that. Like I did here and there, but I was mostly coloring with alcohol markers. And then I was finding myself frustrated because it was bleeding a lot with alcohol markers, and I didn't want to have to heat set my ink or leave it out for 3 days before I could color things in. And I was just like, why am I doing this? I don't need a hybrid ink. I haven't used that, and plus I have the Versamark VersaFine Onyx Black if I want to do any, like the super pigment black that you can't use alcohol markers on, if I want to do any watercoloring. But then I have to stamp on watercolor paper, which is usually a little rougher anyway. So I wasn't stamping a lot of images on watercolor paper, or even Bristol Smooth, which is smooth, obviously. Anyway, so before the end of 2021, I bought 3 pads of Memento Tuxedo Black on Amazon so that I would have enough for the year, because I'm probably going to stick with this. 2 of them were kind of a little fuzzy, but I just like used them to kind of pat down the fuzz. One of them wasn't as fuzzy. That's the one I used here and the one I will use up first. But it is definitely the best, I think, for alcohol markers and being able to color right away and having it not bleed. Now, his little pig nose, the little circle that is his nose, did a little bit of bleeding, but I think I did a lot of coloring touching that line, so that might have been the problem, but it's still better than anything I was dealing with the other ink. So I think I will be using Memento Tuxedo Black for a while now. And fun fact, they're actually around the corner from me, and I didn't find that out until like mid last year by accident, I think, because I saw the address and I was like, wait a minute, and then I clicked on it and they're like around the corner from where I live. But it's obviously not Japan, but like the Imagine Crafts place. like Memento Imagine Crafts, whatever, that portion of it in America, not the Sukaneko like Japanese brand, is around the corner from where I live. So that's cool. Anyway, I am using my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers and a couple, like a Copic here and there. I'm using B0000. I think this one, I didn't look up at my chart. I was just looking for it because I kind of knew where this marker was sitting in my stash. I think it's the lightest blue that I own, which I almost always use for glass or glass type things. I'm assuming, and I have seen these, so I know they exist, that this mixer has a glass bowl, which I think looks really cool, rather than like the metal bowl. And because I can see the whisk through it, I'm assuming it's glass, so I'm coloring it blue. Feel free to color it whatever color you'd like. Also, because this is Shop Your Stash, I should talk about that. This video is going up a little late today only because I had to go to the dentist. I did not pre-plan this video on a different day. It is actually Saturday. I had to go to the dentist and then I promptly fell asleep for like 3 hours after that. And then I was just very tired all day. So, I made this a little late, but that's okay. So for Shop Your Stash, I'm trying to do every Saturday, at least every Saturday in January, for 2022, for No Buy 2022. So in order to try not to buy things, we are shopping what we already have. Those of us that are privileged enough to have a stash in order to shop, it's pretty fun. I just kind of went through and I found these two. I needed some help from you guys, so I asked which one. Obviously, I ended up using a little bit of both. I'll also be using a sentiment from the pig set to go with it. But the point is to just go through what you already have. Obviously, try and use stamp sets you haven't used yet. So if you made some purchases recently or even a long time ago and you still haven't inked up the set, we also want to try to use sets we haven't even touched. But yeah, so I would love to know first down below if you want to comment, if you have either of these sets, if you have some Jane's Doodle sets, or you have this piggy set. So let me know if you have either of these sets, or I'd also like to know if you're following along and shopping your stash, what you are shopping and what you're using to do that, to make a card with stuff that you already have. So what stamp sets are you using? I would love to know. And then I can also let you know if I have that set as well. For these videos, it's just kind of going to be whatever, unless it's close enough to a holiday. Because in February, I am planning a February. We've been watching Ted Lasso, and I'm finding myself ending words just in this moment, like Jamie Tart. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I don't know where he's from, but the way he talks is just kind of annoying. But I'm like, February. Anyway, fantastic show. If you have not watched Ted Lasso, you should. In February, I plan on doing a week of Valentine videos, so Valentine cards. This one I realize is getting a little Valentine's-y because I've got the hearts in there, but it is actually going to end up being a birthday card because the sentiment that I chose, and any of these sentiments wouldn't have been the pig pun sentiments, wouldn't have been very Valentine's-y. I could have reached for a Valentine set to find a sentiment that would have worked, but this turns into a birthday card, which is fine. So on the Shop Your Stash, the point will be to really make anything. So even if you want to reach for a Christmas set and you want to make a Christmas card, go for it. Just shop whatever you have. I saved you all of the time it took me to add glue to this. I wasn't going to make you watch that. And then I very carefully placed it over. So these two dies I purchased together because they actually look very cool together. And I saw a couple cards made with them. the honeybee dies. So one of them is the background where it cuts out the hearts, and the other one is the pierced hearts. So you can see the pierced hearts through the heart holes, if that makes sense. And then we will be using the Ham It Up on Your Birthday, which I'm now realizing is a reference to pigs being meat, and that makes me sad, but that's okay. I don't think we think about that. Ham it up. That's okay. This needs to go horizontally because there is no room vertically. The hearts would probably have looked better vertically, and I realized that as I was doing this, but I wanted all of these to like fit in a row, and that wasn't going to happen. The whisk right now I'm setting aside. I actually do end up adding it to the card. I just couldn't in the moment figure out where to put it. But I'm going to add foam tape to the back of these and just go up a little higher than middle because I'm going to end up putting the sentiment below all of the images, and then stick down all of our little items here. And then I realize as I'm looking at it, the pig is he's not like far left enough. And I'm going to stamp this and then realize there was a cat hair in it, pull that out, and then stamp again on the other side. But since the pig is, he's got too much space to the left of him, I end up putting the whisk over there. So it will end up on the card. And then for the sentiment, I'm going to turn it into a banner, and using a square punch, this is just a Stampin' Up! 1-inch square punch, is a great way to create a very quick banner flag. So if you have not seen that trick and you have a punch like that, I highly recommend it. I'm going to do my best, even though I want to promote things like the Pressure Pal that I used on my Misty, in these videos, to not tell you to buy things, because that's the point of the video, is to not do that and to shop your stash. Obviously, to people not doing No Buy 2022, it's just another card video you're welcome to watch, obviously. I just happen to be using stamp sets I already own. But I also don't want to, in the video for the people who are watching doing No Buy 2022, I don't want to recommend products to buy. I think that would be kind of mean, especially if they don't have them already. So there's that. And then at the end of this month, I already have 2 purchases I would have made easily. And so at the end of the month, I'm going to do a video of what I would have spent based on things that were released, things that I wanted. Doesn't just have to be new releases. It could be art supplies or things that I'm just now finding, whatever. But I'm going to be doing a video covering the amount I would have spent. So I'll keep track of that in my planner, and then I will show you. For now, I'm emailing myself the items I would have bought and then what the total would have been. Like, I go through all the way to checkout, like before hitting pay, and then I back out. So I'm taking that very seriously and adding it up. And I've already had 2 instances, separate purchases so far I would have made. So I will be totaling that up and covering that in an end of month video. I think every month, as long as I last. Let's hope I make it through 2022, through the end, but you never know. I've already been tempted by 2 new stamp sets that I absolutely would have purchased on any other day immediately, and I'm super sad that I can't. So there's that. Anyway, adding some white highlights. Those little heart stickers from Doodlebug Design, I believe, are like my favorite, and I own lots of them, and so I keep them all together because they're my favorite tiny little heart enamel stickers, and they make lots of things better. So I would love your thoughts down below. Here I am burping my glue so that I don't have to have it clogged later. If you have these, you want to make sure you have a clear airway before you put your pin in, or else it's going to clog itself. Let me know down below your thoughts on No Buy 2022, if you're doing it, you're not doing it, if you have either of these stamp sets, or what stamp sets you are using to make your card, and let me know. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.